Okay, Assalamualaikum and very good morning to all. Okay, so we meet again in these online sessions. So in this session, I would like to give you a briefing and also a lecture on the new topic, which is on decisions on part one. So we will have 2 weeks on the decisions, which is part one and also part two, right? So before I proceed with the lecture, okay, even though today is a lab sessions, because I wanted to cover last week lecture on decisions. So I bring on the last week sessions by this morning lab. Okay, so before I start the lecture on the new topic, I would like to give you some 5 minutes inductions. And supposedly I should give you a 5 minute induction for every sessions, either the lecture session or the lab sessions, because it will be part of the what we call the teaching and learning. Okay, so as you can see from this slide, okay, this is one of the example of the time management by using the Pomodoro technique. Okay, maybe you never heard regarding this technique. This is the technique that you can use in order to manage your time for certain tasks. Okay, what I can say here, this is you are chunking the task into a several subtasks in order to complete all the what you call the main tasks in your daily life. Okay, in daily work. Let's say, for example, you have an assignment that you need to do. Okay, so try to make it like a organized way by deciding what kind of the assignment that is priority that you need to submit by this week. For example, you have 2 assignments in this week. One assignment that you need to submit by Wednesday this week, and another assignment that you submit by this coming Friday. So here you have different time for the file submission, right? So you need to prioritize. You need to decide which assignment that you need to do. Once you do that one, you need to set a timer for the task. Let's say you are choosing the first assignment that you need to submit by Wednesday. Okay, so of course in that assignment you have several kind of the tasks that you need to do. Maybe it's a group assignment or individual assignment. It's up to the methods of the assignment itself, right? So you have one assignment that you need to submit. You split that one assignment into several tasks, and each of the tasks you set for at least 25 minutes, right? Okay, at least 25 minutes, and you try to do the particular task within 25 minutes. Whenever the time is reach 25 minutes, try to have a 5 minute breaks. Okay, don't take too long for break, okay, because you already work on 25 minutes for the first one. Okay, and then you continue again for the next cycle of 25 minutes, okay, for the same task until you complete that particular task. Let's say one assignment we have 3 tasks. Okay, one task you can finish around maybe 25 minutes. Okay, another task is another 25 minutes. Okay, and the last one, the third task, is another 5 minutes breaks. So at the end, okay, at the end of the third task, you can take a longer break, maybe around 15 to 30 minutes break for that one. Okay, and you made reward yourself. Maybe you want to go some work, okay, lunch, forever, and so on. Hang out with your friend. Okay, so this is time that you can. This is the technique that you can use in order to manage your time very well. Okay, so Pomodoro technique is very well known in time management. There is a history why the name of the technique is Pomodoro because it comes from the chef that are slashing down the tomatoes. Okay, that's why you can see here from this the text. This is a O here regarding the tomatoes, right? Because we are slicing down tomatoes into a cubical size. So we are chunking down a big task into a smaller task. And each task we spend around 25 minutes. And if we cannot finish and within 25 minutes, take a 5 break minutes, and then we continue again. So the same things in during the lecture itself, because the student only can get around 20 minutes of understanding, and we need to take a break of 5 minutes, and then we continue again. And can be applied for maybe 2 hours of lecture, and within the 2 hours of lecture, we can have around 3 to 4 short break. Okay, so that is regarding the 5 minutes inductions. Okay, that may help you to manage your time. Okay, it's not only for you, and it's mainly for me as well. Okay, okay. Now we jump into the main topic of this session is regarding the decision instructions. All right, this is on part 1. Okay, what is decision actually? So decision is some kind of the conditions that you need to do or you need to meet in order to achieve some goals, right? For example, I give you some scenario in daily life. Okay, so you have a money 5,000 ringgits. Okay, 5,000 ringgits. So you want to buy a new laptop. So outside there are several models, specs, okay, specifications that meet with your requirement. Okay, but you only have 5,000. So you have some options here. Okay, so you have some options that you can meet according to the condition that you set. Let's say, for example, your laptop must have 8 GB of RAM. Okay, we have 500 and above gigabyte of storage. Okay, uh, what else? 15-inch of screen, full HD screen quality, and so on. So let's say this is the conditions. Okay, the requirement that you set. You want to buy a new laptop. Okay, by using 5,000 ringgit. So you may have several options. Asus, for example, Legion, as well, Lenovo, MacBook, and so on. So we have several options. So you do some decisions. I want to choose this one, okay, because it's meet my requirement. Okay, so this is the analogy. What is the decision actually? So in this lesson, you will learn regarding how you can use these decisions and convert into the computer program by using Python language. Okay, so there are several kind of the structures in the decision. But before we jump into specific on decisions, we look on what are the flow of control in the program, right? So as you can see from this slide is example of two control structures that covers on the call here is selections and also iterations. Okay, so the first part here is selection. You need to select which option that you want to choose. Okay, so this is the first controls. Okay, I can say that this is a control statement in the program. The second one here is the iterations. So what meaning is of the iteration is that you may thinking about you will do the same process again and again until at the end of the session. Okay, until at the end of the task, for example. Okay, imagine that during your primary school, teacher punish you. You need to write down a word, a sentence 100 times. For example, I will be a good student. I will be a good student. second. I will be good. You are writing the same text again and then again 100 times. So this is what we call as the iteration. You are doing the same task, okay, 100 times. So this is what meaning about iteration. So another words about iteration is that we can call it as a loop. Later we're gonna see what kind of the loop we have in the Python, which is covered on the for and also while. Okay. So in the first part of this session is that we are covering on the selection first. Okay. So very simple way that we can do is either the option is true or false. Okay. So in the previous sessions, you learned regarding the sequential structure. What the meaning of sequential is that you are writing down the control statement from line 1, okay, until at the end of line n, for example, okay, in sequence, linearly, okay, from line 1 until line number 9, okay, 10 or 7 and so on. But in this session, you will learn about selection structure, okay. You will have maybe around 10 lines, say for example, and then you have some kind of the condition here. If x is greater than y, okay, so then you will print out this one. So else you will print out this one. Okay, just give you some idea what will be happening in the selection structure is that if the first condition here, which is this one, is true, okay, it will skip this one. It's only execute this line. So this is what meaning about selection structure. You are selecting the correct statement of your program. Okay. So sequential structure doesn't have this one. Okay, of course it's sequential structure, but since we have a conditions here, it will skip the else statement because the else statement will be false. Okay, according to the case study. But assume that this case is x is greater than y, and this will be execute in this line. So it's not execute on this line. So you are selecting the correct statement from the program. Okay. So we have another one here will be covered in the part 2, which is on the repetition structure. Like I mentioned just now, we cover on the loop and also while. Some of the condition we need to use for, and some of the condition we can use while. Later, maybe around this week, I will show you what is different regarding for and so on. Okay. So to make you more understand regarding the control flow, okay, it is important to you that you need to know what is a flowchart. Okay, flowchart is one of the example that we can represent the computer program into a diagram structure. Is a visual clearly the execution of computer program instruction by the use of error blocks and also descriptions. So we have kind of a start. Of course, we need to start with this symbol, and then we need to end the program by using the same symbol again. So we have an arrow here, meaning that the interaction between the symbols. Okay, right? So we have input or output. This shape we call as parallelogram, represent as input or output. Okay, remember that in previous sessions, previous lecture, labs, we already talked about a lot of things regarding input and output. So you can use this diagram in order to represent the input, right? And also we already covered regarding the process. So what is process? Process can be in terms of mathematical formula, assignment. Let's say x equal to a 10. This one also we call it as a process as well. Let's say, for example, we have some formula, x equal to 1 plus y, something like that. This also we call as a process. Okay, You can use this symbol in order to present this as process. And what you need to cover is one is decisions. Decision is present into the diamonds, diamond shape, so that we will have some kind of the options. Let's say, for example, is it true or false? Okay, either here is false or true, depends on the how you present the diagram in the flowchart later. Okay, so similar things in the previous slide. We have this is a flowcharts. Okay, try to look on this one. We have maybe around this one is some options, and this has a decisions. Either this a segment is true or false. It will execute accordingly to the requirement that we set in the computer program or the flowchart. Okay, if this one is true, you print out any message or any operations, or maybe you have another selection. Whatever is true, you want to do another selections here. That part will be covered. We call as a nested selections. Okay, so this is an example of the case study by using a flowchart. Okay, so I know that you already look on this slide, but I want to explain a little bit on this one. Let's say there is an example here, the lamp doesn't work. So what you should do, if you want to plug in, okay, lamp plug in, you need to do some checking here. Check. So option here, you want to do some checking. This is a real situations. Lamp, is it the lamp is plugged in? So if this lamp, the lamp is not plugged in, so you need to plug in the lamp. So this is a process. Okay, we call it as a process. Whenever this is true, you will do this process. Otherwise, okay, the bulb is burned out. So what you should need to do? So you need to replace a bulb. Okay. So if the bulb is not burned out, you need to buy a new lamp. Okay. Hopefully you understand the flow of what is going on if we have decision in your scenario in daily life. Okay, so another example here that we have here, okay, let's say we have this, we are starting the flowchart by using this symbol, input from switch. Okay, and then we have input from switch here is the maybe some kind of data. Okay, and then we go through down here by using the arrow to make sure that there is interaction between the input and also decisions, right? So we need to do some, what you call a decision here. Either the switch is not pressed or is pressed. So this one is true. Okay, sorry. This one is, let's say, false, and this one is true. So if the switch is true, which means it's pressed, so we want to do some cooking. Okay, all right. So we have another here, some kind of the iteration again and again. So this is another example of we have multiple of decisions in the flowcharts, right? Okay, so we move on the operators that we can use in the selection structure, right? I want to make it faster because this one is more on the mathematical, and this one is not too critical. Okay, so we have several kind of the operators here. Greater, less, equal, not equal by using this symbol. Okay, not equal. Okay, is less or equal, or greater or equal. So we have some kind of a compound here. All right, so we have compound left and also right side, left and so right side here. So which means that it will execute whatever it will have in the this parenthesis first, and then last thing we'll do the comparison. Okay, and then we have another last one here. Let's say, for example, this one. Okay, right. Okay, so as you can see here, the left or right can be a value, a variable, or expression, just like this one. Okay, what I mean regarding the expression here, a minus 5 is expression. Okay, and then you want to do either a minus 5 is greater or 10. This is a value. This is a value, right? So all the thing here we call as an expression as well. A here is a variable. Okay, hopefully you still remember what is variable. So we move on the example here. So very straightforward example that we want to do a difference between two values. Let's say you want to key in two values here, and then you want to do some comparison in two values, right? So you do the sum program, okay? Inputs in line 1 and so line 2 here is the inputs, right? So this is the input, and then you do some formula here, okay? Some formula. If you don't have any decision that we have in the program here, it might look like this one, okay? And then let's say the input to input is 10, and then you do some difference is minus 20, okay? So normal mathematics you will cut here is minus 10. So in logic, well, this is correct actually. But in terms of the equation here, defining the difference between two values, okay, is some kind of the you are finding. It's not you are finding the value of the uh, formula here because, but you are finding the difference here. So the difference here should be in positive value. It's not will be in the. This one is a negative value. Let's say, for example, what are the differences between the difference between two numbers? Let's say 5 minus 2. The difference is 3. Of course, this one is 3 because the first operand here is greater than 2. Okay, doesn't matter this one. But if you have a let's say a opposite way by entering the value here is 2 minus 5. This one will be negative 3. This one will be the negative value. Okay, right? But how we can overcome this one is that by adding some additional statement by using the set actions here. So this is an example of the flowcharts that we can do in order to make sure that our computer program is what we call is a good enough in terms of the result. Okay, it's not printing out the negative value, but instead of negative value, it will print out the positive value, always the positive value. So what we can do in this one is that, okay, so this is an example of the flow chart. You can use the flow chart here. You may thinking about what kind of the software I'm using here is one. You can find out it's a flow algorithm. It's very useful tool for designing a flow chart for your computer program. And this software also, if you have a correct what you call here is a flowchart, is if you develop a correct suitable flowchart sorry, it will create a code as well. Okay, so the code can be represented in terms of the C++, in terms of the Python as well. Okay, it will give you some kind of idea. So the code may be look like this if you have this algorithm. Okay, and if you have this kind of flowchart, but you need to make sure that the flowchart is correct. Okay, so this is the input process represent in the rectangle shape in a yellow color. Then you have a decision here. Okay, try to look here. So this is a process. Okay, it is a process. Value 1 is minus 10. Let's say this output here 10. This one is 20. Okay, so 10 minus 20. Okay, the result of this one is will become minus 10. So minus 10 here will be assigned into the variable that which is called as a diff. It's the difference. Okay, so the next step, you want to do some decision by using this kind of this symbol. Okay, so if the result, okay, the result of the previous operations, which is being assigned and different, is less than 0. Okay, I put here minus 10 is less than 0. So which part will be go? Okay, either is false or true. It will go to the, which one is true? Minus 10 is equal to 0 is true. It will go to this flow. Okay, so and then it will do the another operations here. So you will have another operations here, diff equal to 0 minus difference. So what we do here is actually we want to have a positive value instead of negative value, negative 10. We want to make sure that negative value will be appear as a positive value. So look here, okay, negative equal 0 minus, okay, since different here the value is negative 10, so it will be negative 10. So normal mathematics, it will be the plus, and at the end you will get the positive value. So this is another way, it is the first approach that you can do by adding the decision in the program. Okay, converting into negative value to the positive value. Okay, so we present this one into the programming. Okay, you can refer to the flowchart that we have here. Okay, you can look on side by side. Right, this one is line number 1, is on line number 2. If we refer to the previous slide, this one is on the line 1. Okay, this is line 2. Right, so we look again. So line number 4, this one is operations. Okay, that should be in terms of negative 10. This one is line number 10. I put here line L4 is regarding the line number 4. And we have a decision here. So decision here supposedly in line number 5 and also line number 6. Okay, line number 5, line number 6, right? So line number 6, and line number 5 here is this one, right? If diff is less than 0, so if line number 5, so what you should do, if this one is true, it will execute what is inside the correct statement. So line number 6, this will be line number 6. Okay, so you may ask me what will be happening here in this part. Okay, so whatever the condition is false, it will skip all the statement from line 5 and also line 6. Okay, if this one is false, it will go directly to this one. Okay, I give you some example, another example. Let's say you are entering the the first value here, v1 is 20, v2 is 10. Okay, you will imagine that the difference that you got here will be positive value. So if we do the condition here, let's say here, is it 10 is less than 0? This will be false, right? It will be false. So it will execute the false statement here, which means that it will go directly to the printout statement. It doesn't have any what you call additional statement here for the else statement. Okay, so this one is go directly to this one. If this one is if this one is true, it will go directly to this one. Okay, so at the end, once we complete with this false statement as well, it will execute on the line 8 as well. Okay, so far, do you have any question before I move to the next part?
No, doctor.
Okay, so far clear this one?
So far clear, Doctor.
Okay, so I can move for the next part here. Okay, so this is another way, okay, that you can represent into the positive value. What is different is that, okay, you may look on the line number 6, okay, line number 6 here. Previously in, okay, we have difference equal to V1 minus V2, which is, if we have 10 minus 20, okay, so you will get here another what you call operations that you need to convert into positive value. 0 minus minus 10, so you will get here 10. So another process or another formula that you can use is this one, okay, very simple one. And then I share with this one because some of the students have different kind of the idea to convey or to have the same output but different operations. Okay, just rearrange the position of value 1 and also value 2 like this way. Yeah, so this is another way lah. Yeah, another way. So you will get the same output as well. Okay, but you will have different operation in line number 6 here. Okay, so this is example of if we have what we call difference between two values. Okay, approach number 3. So this is approach number 3. Presume that you have two values also. Okay, you have two values 10 and also 20. Okay, so you want to have this kind of the formula. Okay, so you want to do some either you want to use this formula or this formula. Okay, where this formula come from is that this come from the previous slide. Okay, this is the second approach. This is the first approach. All right. Okay, so let's say here value 1 is 10. Is it 10 is greater than 20? Is false. Okay, is false, so it will be execute under the false statement. So what is the false statement? This one. False statement is true. Sorry. Okay, it will execute this formula. So 20 minus 10, first you will get positive value. Let's say your input here is not 10, 20, it's 20 and so 10. Okay, it's not this one anymore, it will be 20. Is it 20 greater than 10? Yes, it's true. So since it's true, it will execute this statement right away. Doing implement this formula. V1 minus 20, 20 minus 10, of course, is still on the positive value. So this is another, the third way that you can do for the same case study. Okay, so in computer program, that's why in computer program you need to use your own logic in order to solve the problem. Some of the students using the first approach, some of the students using the second and also the third approach, but at the end you will get the same output. Okay, so how you can represent the third approach here into the programming part here? So you can see here you will have another additional statement which is come from the line number, so line number 7 and also line number 8, which is we have else here. If this one is true, you will execute this line. Otherwise, you will execute this line. So this is the meaning of the code here, right? So if this one is true, right? So it will execute. Otherwise, it will execute this line. Okay. Sorry. So as you can see here, you will see that there is a double dot at the end of the if and also the else statement here. I want to write down here clearly if v1 is greater than V2, you will have a symbols, a double dot symbols right after at the end of the parameter here. Okay, sorry, this one. Okay, so what the meaning of the symbol here is that, so this is sorry, this is what we call as the starting point of the decision. Okay, sorry, is a block of the statement that belongs to the if statement. So all the things that inside below of the statement here, like this one is different, you know, the blah 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 blah, and then you have print out and blah 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 and so on. All the statement is belong to the else if statement. Okay, but in one condition, you need to have indentation right away the double dot here. Okay, right away but here that represent this is one block of the conditions. Okay, so in Python is very sensitive regarding the indentation. If you still remember on the first week that I mentioned on the Python language, Python is very sensitive on the indentation. What I mean is that if you put here what we call some kind of the before the p text here, you put some space. Okay, you put some space, it will assume that the print here belongs to the else statement. It's not belongs to the it's not belong to what you call sorry, it's belong to the print, sorry, it's belong to the else statement because you have the indentation right after the print here. Okay, so you will get some errors. It's not errors, you will get some logical errors. Okay. So this is an example of the in the code, right? You can represent in the represent from the flowchart is now. Okay, so this sorry, this is another process number 4 by using a to if, to if here. So how we can present in the flowchart, actually this one. Okay, you can use a flow algorithm. Okay, you can design like this way. This may look like this one. Okay, let's say this one. You have another if here. This is the first. Is it v1 is greater than v2? Okay, if this one is true, it will execute the statement here. This one is true, it will execute statement in line number 6. But right after this one, you have another block of condition, which is that this one is it v2 is greater than v1. Okay, if this one is true, it will execute in line 8. I just put here some notation or line number here, right? Okay, so this is line number 7. This is line number 5. Okay, right? And it will execute what we call here some kind of the below here. You have the print out. Okay, print out. So what meaning of this one is that you have two if here. So it will execute both of the condition here. So if the first condition is true, it will execute this one. But if this one is true also, it will execute this one as well. But since this one we are adding the same value, this one will be false, but it will execute as well. Okay, but since this one is false, it will not execute the statement inside here, but it will look up on the line number 7 as well because it's part of the conditions, right? Okay. Okay, so this is another example, which is that we have some menus by either you want to choose the area of circle of cube. So I give you some example of the code that we have here, right? This is what we call the decision. Okay, imagine that in your computer program, you want to choose some menu. Okay, menu 1 to calculate this. Menu 2 is to calculate this one. Menu 3 is 3 is calculate this one. Okay, try to imagine this one that you have going to the ATM. Okay, ATM auto teller machines. So you want to withdraw some monies. You put your card. Okay, and then you put the PIN number, right? Right. Okay. Just imagine that you have a PIN number, correct PIN number. Then it will do the next process. Do you want to check the balance, or you want to withdraw, or you want to change the PIN number? Will be execute if the PIN number from the first place is correct. Okay, so that's another what you call another options, another case study of the if else. So we go straight for this one first. Select your option either one, which is you want to collect the circle or the square. So if you want to do some operation for the circle, you need to key in 1. If you want to do operation for square, you need to key in 2. Okay, so this is the input of either you want to choose 1 or 2. Okay, the input. So the operations of this program depends on the value that you key in from the line number 3. Is the option is equal to 1? Okay, is the option is equal to 1 means that you want to choose the first option, which is you want to calculate the circle. So these are the statements. Okay, these are the statements. It's not, you can add multiple of statements, multiple of the operations for one condition here. Okay, right? As you make it in number 2, that will be execute on this statement. Okay, so this is the circle, square. All right, so we have an additional options here just to make sure that you are keying the correct value of the options, because you want to put here only either 1 or 2 only. Let's say you are keying a 3. It supposedly doesn't exist in the option. So 3 here will be false under the else statement. Okay. Let's say imagine that you want key in 1. Okay. You key in 1. 1. This one is true. Then it will execute line number 5, line number 6, and also line number 7. Okay. So what will be happening in the selection here by using if else? The program will look on the line number 8 as well. But this one is false. Okay. Since this one is false, it's not execute line number 9 until line number 11. Okay, assume that the programming will read line by line. Okay, so since this one is not be executed, it will look on the line number 12 as well. Okay, this one is option. Okay, it's one is option, but since you only have 1 and 2 here, but you are keying 1 only, so this one will be not be executed. So and then the next line here, line number 14. Okay, this one is not belongs to any block of the condition here because doesn't have any indentation right after the P, sorry, before the P text here. Okay, so the end here, you see that we print out the complete statement. Okay. So far, do you have any questions? If you have any question, just raise your hand by using the, do you have a raise your hand in the, yeah, you have raise your hand in the Google Meet. Yeah. Okay, do you have any questions? Amir ada tak Amir? Sini. Raj ada tak Raj?
Ada, Doktor.
Ada. Do you have any questions?
Random number from random name.
No, Doctor.
So far, can you understand?
Yes, Doctor. Hopefully. Boleh faham.
Okay, so you will understand by answering the lab exercise questions. All right, slowly. Okay, what you can do right now is that try to understand, okay, or try to rewrite the code that have in the slide. Okay, just now we have 4 approach. Okay, 4 approach for the same case study. You try to load this one. Okay, you run on the first approach. Okay, you will see what is happening there and so on. So run again, you will see and so on. Okay, right. So before I go to the lab exercise, I want to give you some called tutorial how you can use the Thonny, and then you want to trace out what is happening, what is we call the executions of the code in the Python looks like actually. Okay. So you can open your own Thonny. Okay, you can follow my instructions. Okay, so this one is helpful for you to understand what is happening in the Python if we have a selections. What is my Thonny? Okay, right here. Can you clearly see the code? New.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, here, so we already read on decisions. Okay, so try to have a organized folder for your study. Okay, let's say I put here some week 4, week 1. So all the things here will be put inside here. Okay, diff. So I want to have some kind of the very simple one according to the slide just now. A v1 equal to eval input enter value 1, for example, like that. Okay, settle. And then put here second assignment for this one for getting the second input and the value number 2, like this one. You can design your own. Okay, I run the program. Okay, value 1. So I want to put here double dot at the end of the numbers. Run again. Okay, good. Okay, we want to do some operations here. If so, you may have some kind of the, like, let's say comments. You can put some comments here. If equal to v1 minus v2, and then you want to print out the value. Different is comma. Okay, we want to try this code. Run. Okay, 10, 20. You will get here minus 10. Of course, minus 10. Okay, so this one is very simple. Okay, this one is very simple, straightforward. This is what you call as the sequential structure. It doesn't have any condition in the program, but it will do the program straight away from line 1 to it doesn't have here one like this one 1 2 3 4 straight away. Okay, what if you want to have some conditions in the program here? Okay, you try to use the first approach by using a diff equal to 0 minus diff. Okay, you want to use this one. So I want to add additional statement here, which is line number 4. If v1 is less than v2, double dot, you enter once, it will automatically do the indentation for you. So meaning that right after line number 4, which is line number 5, will be part of the condition of line number 4. It belongs to the statement in line number 4. It's the condition of it. So we do some operation, difference equal to 0 minus difference. Okay, don't ask me what is the formula in this one. Okay, this one is very straightforward. Okay, so otherwise, do you want to have some kind of additional statement? Okay, we stop for this one first. We run the program. Either this one program is correct or not. So we put the same value 10 and also 20. Can you see here? So it will execute the statement. So you can't see what is happening is from line 1 until line number, let's say I will remove this one, until line number 6 here. But to be precise or to be make sure that the code is readable, okay, so you can have some kind of this one. Just to add empty line for if you have different kind of the component. Okay, this is the assignment. Okay, this is assignment. This is assignment. This is the input. Do you have any? This also input as well. Okay, but this one is a condition. Yes, right. So you may have one empty line in between of it to make sure that it's readable for you to see. Okay, it's not only for you, but for the other programmer as well. Right. So because if you put something this one is of course it's make confusing. Okay, just put like this one. Right. Okay. Like I mentioned just now, how we can trace out what is happening from line number 1 until line number 9 here. Okay. Look carefully this one. As you can see from the top bar here, you will have an icon, the box icon, the green icon here. You click on this one, debug current script, right? It will execute, sorry, it will activate what you call the step over. We have a step into, and then we have step out, and then we have kind of resume for the one. Okay, what you can do here, you can click on the step over. It will execute what is happening in this Python language. Okay, right. I click this one once. Okay, it will appear the input from the shell component here, right? Because it will do the first statement. I enter once, okay, in one, and then I press enter. So whenever I press enter, so will you see that the variable of v1 will be holds a value of 10. 10 is come from the input that you gain from the shells component just now. So this one, it will be go to the line number 2, but it's not execute yet. So you click again on this tab over, click this one, it will request to you to enter value number 2. I put here 20. Then I press enter. Whenever I press enter, the script will be go to the line number 4, but it's not execute yet. It just read only. Okay, as you can see from the variable component here, v2 have a value 20. Okay, just now it's 20. Okay, you click again on this one, step over, click. It will go this one and then do the conditions, right? So if v1 is v2, is it correct? This one is correct, and then it will do the what we call a difference. Again, is difference. You step over again, click again, and then it will do this operation converting it again. So step again, you got the output. So this is what we call the step by step what is happening in the program. Right. So instead by using the step over here, there is another one here that we call a step into. Step into here is more what we call is more detailed, okay, compared to the step over. Right. So right now I'm using the step into. Look on the line number 1 here. So we have the assignment. We have two instructions here. We have eval instructions and also input instruction. If you click on the step into, click, the program will read on this one. It's look on the left side first. Okay, Always remember that the program will look on the right side first. Click on the step into again. So it will see that, okay, there is what you call input assignment here. So it will execute the input assignment first, right? So I click again. Okay, in input assignment, there is a message that I need to display. Click again here, right? Okay, for this one, okay, the program will see that I enter value. So remember that your computer remember that, okay, this one will be, I need to print out this one in the shell. Click again, okay, right? Again, so since we have an input here, it will display the key in request. Put here 10, press enter, right? So can you see here just now? So the input value will be replaced with a string, and you see here this is string, okay, single quote, single quote, okay, inside is a 10. Remember that we represent if we have only input statement, okay, input statement without any eval statement, okay, you will have the string value. It's not the numerical value. So this is what happening here. Like I mentioned in the previous, eval is one of the examples that we want to convert into the numerical value. So you click again, you step into, right? Okay, I have in program, I have a eval function, eval instruction here. So this one will be convert the string value into a number. So right now, so you have here the last statement, which is that 10 will be assigned into variable 1. You click again, it will be stored in the computer memory with the value of 10 and also the address of the variable v1. So this is what is happening in the computer programs. It's not only for the Python, but it happens in the other programming language itself. So you click again here, okay, click. For the same process again, for value 2, it will request to enter the second value, 20, press enter, and then it's not converted into the numerical yet, but eval will do that. Click again, convert it into the numerical value, 20 will be assigned into value 2. Okay, so and then move to the line number 4. It doesn't read on the line number 3, but because it doesn't have anything there. Right, so this one will be read on the right side to the left side here, v1 minus v2. So you do the operations, v1 is what? It's 10. Okay, v1 is 10, and what is v2? v2 will be 20. Right, v2 will be 20. So and then do the operation, 10 minus 20, it become minus 10. Minus 10 will be assigned into the variable diff. Will be, you can see here in the variable component. So the same thing here. So I want to highlight here what is happening in the if statement here by using the step into features. Below this one, okay. So there is some condition that we need to look up. Is it v1 is less than v2? So this one again, okay. So it will read what is v1 actually. v1 is 10, v2 is 20. Okay, and then we do the what you call the comparison. Okay, you do the checking here. Click this one, okay, again. So is it 10 is less than 20? Click again. Is true. So whatever this one is true, it will execute whatever is underlined under right after in the line number 6 that belong to the if statement. So this one is the condition that will be executed in the if statement. So do again this one, click again, okay, right? So you can see here 10 minus 10, okay, this one you look at the positive value. So at the end, this one you look at the same things process of the previous one, different is 10, right? Okay, so this is what we call it, you want to trace out what is happening in the conditions. All right, so right now you still have another time 1 hour here, right, before you go for the lab exercise. what you can do here, try to rewrite again the codes, whatever that inside the slide. My suggestion is that, my advice that you don't copy whatever that inside the slide. You need to rewrite in your own. Okay, what I mean is that, then don't just copy paste the code in the slide. You cannot copy paste from the slide because it's in the image, right? This one. So copy the code, okay, write down and then put in the Thonny, and then you can use this technique, step over or step into. I would like to suggest you to use step into, because that one is very detailed, step by step. What is happening in line number 1, what's happening in line number 2, 4, and so on. And very interesting thing is that if you have multiple of condition, it will do the checking actually. Okay, you know that this is happening inside here.